Everyone thought I was the other woman until his wife pulled up the receipts. I found out I was dating a married man in the middle of a brunch restaurant, with my phone face down and a woman standing over our table saying my name like she already knew me. "Are you Emma?" I looked up. She was calm, not shaking, not yelling. Calm like this wasn't her first move. "Yes," I said. She nodded once and looked at him. "So this is where you've been on Sundays?" He didn't stand up. He didn't explain. He just said my name quietly, like that was supposed to fix it. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I just asked, "Who is she?" He opened his mouth, closed it, looked at her again. She answered for him, "I'm his wife." 8 years. People nearby went quiet. In that way, that means they're listening, without turning their heads. I stood up, picked up my bag, and said the only thing that mattered. "You told me you were divorced." He reached for my arm. I stepped back. "Emma," he said. "This isn't what it looks like." His wife laughed once. "Sharp, controlled. That's funny," she said. "Because I have screenshots that say exactly what it looks like." She pulled out her phone and turned it toward me. I didn't even need to read everything. I saw my own name in his texts. Nicknames he told me were just hours, times, dates, lies layered on top of lies. "I'm sorry," she said to me, and I could tell she meant it. "I didn't come here for you. I came here so he couldn't lie his way out of it." He finally stood up. "Can we not do this here?" She smiled at him, not kindly. "You said I was hysterical, so I wanted witnesses." She looked back at me. "You didn't know," she said, "but now you do." I nodded. That was all I could manage. I walked out, didn't look back, didn't wait for him to follow. He tried anyway. He texted me before I made it to my car. "I can explain." Then, "She's exaggerating." Then, "Our marriage has been over for years." I didn't respond. That night, I blocked his number, his socials, his email, everything. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. 2 weeks later, his wife messaged me on Instagram. "I'm not trying to drag you into this," she wrote, "but I need you to see something." I hesitated. Then I said yes. She sent a folder. Inside were screenshots, bank statements, hotel confirmations, messages he'd sent other women, not just me, at least 4. All overlapping, all with the same lines. "You're different. I've never felt this way. My marriage is basically done." She sent one last message. "He's telling people you knew." That's when I got angry. Because that was the lie, the one meant to protect him. I asked her what she was planning to do. "Divorce," she said. "And I'm filing with fault." I told her I'd help. The next day, I sent her everything, every text, every voice memo, every timestamp. I didn't add commentary. I didn't editorialize. I just sent facts. A week later, he emailed me from a new address. "You really didn't have to do that." I didn't reply. A month after that, a mutual friend called me. "Hey," she said carefully, "did you know he moved out?" I did. "He's telling people you ruined his life." I laughed. Not loudly, just once. "No," I said. He did. After that, things went quiet. I focused on work, on the gym, on sleeping through the night again. I stopped flinching when my phone lit up. 3 months later, I went to a friend's birthday party I almost skipped. I was standing in the kitchen refilling my drink when a guy next to me said, "You look like you're planning your escape." I smiled despite myself. Is it that obvious? Only because I was doing the same thing. We talked, nothing intense. No sparks flying across the room. Just easy, normal. He didn't steer the conversation toward himself. He didn't rush. When he asked for my number, he added, "No pressure." I noticed that. On our first date, he told me he was divorced before I asked, gave details, answered questions directly. On our third date, he introduced me to his friends. On our fifth, he challenged me with asking, because he was scheduling something weeks out, and said, "I don't like ambiguity." I noticed that too. 6 months later, my ex tried to follow me again on Instagram. I didn't block him right away. I just showed my boyfriend. He glanced at the screen and said, "Want me to take a picture of us this weekend? Might save him some imagination." I laughed. Then I blocked my ex. Last week, I ran into his former wife at a coffee shop. She looked lighter. "He lost the house," she said. "And the narrative?" I nodded. As I walked out, my phone buzzed. Outside when you're ready. My boyfriend texted. I didn't rush. I didn't check over my shoulder. I just walked out knowing exactly who was waiting for me. Everyone thought that was where it wrapped up. It wasn't. A year into dating him, I found out just how deep the damage from my ex actually went. It started small. Too small to dramatize. A DM from a woman I didn't know. Hey, this is awkward. But did you used to date Daniel? I stared at the name longer than I should have. I hadn't heard it out loud in months. Yes, I typed back. Briefly. Why? 3 dots. Then nothing. Then a paragraph. He told people you were obsessed, that you wouldn't leave him alone. I went on one date with him, and he warned me about you. I felt that cold, familiar stillness settle in. Not panic. Focus. I asked one question. What exactly did he say? She sent screenshots. He told her I faked ignorance about his marriage. That I inserted myself into his divorce. That I tried to get him fired. He called me unstable, vindictive, dangerous. I didn't respond emotionally. I asked for dates. They lined up with emails I still had. Messages where he begged me to talk, apologized, asked me to reconsider. I thanked her, didn't argue, didn't defend myself. Then I forwarded everything to his ex-wife. She replied 10 minutes later. He's doing it again. Apparently, part of their divorce agreement included non-disparagement clause. He wasn't allowed to defame her or me because my name was explicitly listed in the filings as a third party affected by his misconduct. I hadn't even known that. He thinks you won't do anything, she said. He thinks you're gone. That night, Mark noticed something was off. You're quiet, he said. I found out Daniel's still lying about me. He didn't say. Ignore it, he didn't say. Let it go. He said, what you want to do? So premier taldim. 2 weeks later, I was back in a conference room. Different building, different table. Same kind of arrogance, just filtered through legal language this time. Daniel was there with his attorney. His ex-wife was there with hers. I was there with mine. Daniel wouldn't look at me. His attorney started confident. My client maintains that any statements made were opinions. My lawyer slid a folder across the table. Here are the screenshots, she said. Here are the timestamps. Here is the clause your client signed. And here is the affidavit from a third party confirming damages. Daniel finally looked up. That's not. He started. His ex-wife cut in. You said she knew. Under oath, you said she didn't. Silence. His attorney flipped pages faster now. I didn't speak. I didn't need to. My lawyer tapped one page. This message was sent 3 days after you emailed her apologizing for lying to her. Would you like to explain how she was harassing you while you were asking to meet? Daniel's jaw tightened. I was trying to de-escalate. My lawyer nodded. By lying. No, en souhait. The room shifted. You can feel it when it happens. When confidence drains and everyone recalculates. Daniel's attorney asked for a break. They stepped outside. 10 minutes later, they came back quieter. The offer was simple. Cease and desist. Written retraction sent to anyone he'd spoken to. Financial penalty for breach of agreement. Or court. Daniel signed. He didn't look at me when he did. Outside the building, Mark was waiting. How'd it go? He asked. It's over, I said. He didn't cheer. He just held the door open. Montpas said peacefully, then went into someone from Daniel's old circle at the bar. She squinted at me. Oh, you're not what I expected. I smiled. What did you expect? She hesitated. He said you were. Intense. Mark leaned in slightly. She's thorough. The woman laughed awkwardly. Yeah, I guess he had some stuff going on. I said. She nodded. He's not around much anymore. That was the consequence. Not dramatic. Not cinematic. Just isolation. Quiet. A reputation that couldn't outrun facts. A year later, Mark proposed. Nothing flashy. No crowd. Just dinner and a question asked clearly, without pressure. Premier c'est yes sir. Last month, while packing for a trip, I found an old screenshot folder I'd forgotten to delete. I closed it. Emptied the trash. Mark glanced over. You okay? Yeah, I said. I don't need that anymore. He smiled. Good. I turned off my phone, zipped the bag, and walked out knowing exactly who was walking beside me. I thought the story ended with the ring. It didn't. 3 weeks after Mark proposed, Daniel tried one last move. That's how I knew it was him. A background check alert popped up on my phone while I was at work, not the standard credit ping. A soft inquiry tied to a private investigator firm. I recognized immediately because I'd researched them a year earlier when his ex-wife showed me how he tried to dig into her dating life. I didn't panic. I forwarded the alert to my attorney. She called me within an hour. He's not allowed to do that. I know, I said. I just wanted you to see it. She asked one question. Do you want to handle this quietly, or do you want it documented? Documented, I said. That night, Mark and I sat at the kitchen table. I showed him the alert. He didn't tense up. He didn't ask if I was scared. He's checking if I exist, Mark said. That's embarrassing for him. He thinks if he finds something, he can still control the story. Mark nodded once. Then, he's about to learn he can't. 2 days later, Daniel received a formal notice. Violation of the cease and desist. Violation of the divorce agreement. Unauthorized surveillance. He responded through his lawyer. Not angry, defensive. He's concerned for his reputation, the email said. My attorney replied with one sentence. Further contact will result in a civil harassment filing. That was it. No dramatic confrontation. No apology. Just a wall he finally couldn't get around. 6 months later, Mark and I got married. Small venue, outdoor, 60 people who actually knew us. I noticed something during the ceremony. There was no scanning the crowd, no tightening in my chest, no wondering who might show up uninvited. Afterward, while we were signing the license, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I didn't open it. I handed the phone to Mark. Can you block that for me? He did it without asking questions and slid the phone back across the table. Gone. At the reception, someone asked how we met. I said, bad timing led to good information. They laughed. We danced. A year into marriage, I ran into Daniel once, accidentally, airport lounge, early flight. He looked older. Tired, in a way sleep doesn't fix. He saw me first, froze, hesitated, then walked over like he'd rehearsed it. Hey, he said, you look happy. I am, I said. He nodded, like he expected that. I just wanted to say things got out of hand. I didn't argue. I didn't correct him. Take care, I said. He waited for more. There wasn't any. Mark came up behind me, hand light on my back. Ready? He asked. Yes, I said. Daniel watched us walk away. That was the last time I saw him. No texts, no emails, no rumors reaching me through friends. The story stopped following me. Last week, Mark and I signed papers on a house. As we walked out of the office, the agent said, "You just seem very steady." Mark squeezed my hand. "We don't rush," he said. I smiled, unlocked the car, and drove us home, knowing there was nothing left chasing us. About 4 months after we moved into the house, Mark came home early one afternoon and found me sitting on the floor of the office, surrounded by open folders. "Not frantic, organized. You look like you're building a case," he said. "I might be," I said, and turned my laptop so he could see. An email had come in from my old company. Subject line, verification request. Someone had contacted HR asking for confirmation that I'd been terminated for cause 2 years earlier. I hadn't been. I'd left voluntarily with a written commendation. I still had it. Mark didn't ask who. He already knew. "That's him," he said. "Yes," I said. And this time he used his real name. That was the mistake. I replied to HR first, attached my resignation letter, the performance review, the exit email from my manager wishing me luck. Then I replied to the attorney who'd sent the request. "Please clarify the purpose of this inquiry," I wrote. "As the infernality, me phone on different number. Familiar voice." "I didn't think you'd actually respond," Daniel said. I put the call on speaker and hit record. "You contacted my former employer," I said. "I was just doing some due diligence," he said. "You're very litigious. I needed to protect myself." "From what?" I asked. A pause. "Too long. You've been telling people things," he said. I waited, That could affect my career. There's a standing order, I said. No contact. No investigation. No statements. I didn't contact you, he said quickly. I contacted HR. You contacted me, I said. Just now. Silence. I think we can resolve this like adults, he said. No, need to escalate. I stopped the recording. I'll let my attorney handle it, I said, and hung up. Mark hadn't moved. That was sloppy, he said. Yes, I said. He's unraveling. My attorney didn't even sound surprised when I forwarded everything. This is the third violation, she said. At this point, we stop warning. What happens now? I asked. Now, she said, there are consequences that don't disappear. 3 weeks later, Daniel was served at work, not by mail. Nokietli. A process server walked into his office during business hours and handed him the papers in front of his team. Civil harassment, defamation, unlawful surveillance, pattern of conduct. He tried to contest it. In court, he claimed coincidence, curiosity, concern. The judge asked one question. If you were afraid of her, why did you keep reaching for her life? He didn't answer. The ruling was clean. Permanent restraining order. Financial damages. Legal fees. A formal finding of harassment on record. When it was over, Daniel tried to speak to me in the hallway. The bailiff stepped between us. You need to leave, he said to Daniel. Now, Daniel looked at me like he wanted a reaction. I picked up my bag. A month later, a recruiter I'd worked with years ago called me. Random question, she said. Did you ever date someone named Daniel? Yes, I said. She exhaled. Okay, good to know. He applied here and listed you as a reference. I closed my eyes once. What did you tell him? I asked. That we don't move forward with candidates who fabricate references. I thanked her and hung up. That was the final consequence. Not dramatic, not loud. Just doors that stopped opening. Last night, Mark and I sat on the porch, watching the lights go on in the neighborhood. You okay? He asked. Yes, I said. I think it's finally done. He nodded. Good, because we'll be right now. Première line back, listen to the of my shoulder. Nothing else from him ever reached me. No calls, no emails, no attempts to interfere. Mark and I moved fully into our new house. We painted, unpacked, laughed over furniture we picked together, and planned trips without worrying who might show up. The past became a folder on a forgotten hard drive. Closed. Irrelevant. Last weekend, hosting a party. Friends. Wine. Easy conversation. Daniel wasn't mentioned. His name was a simple idiot space. I stepped outside for air after everyone left. Mark came out and put his arm around me. I like this life, he said. Me too, I said. And that was it. No lingering echoes. No unfinished business. No loser. The record is closed. If this story resonated with you and you'd like to see more of my content, subscribe. I post videos every week.